Yeah, hi guys, Peter back for yet another video. I'm going to do a bit of a different type of video today. I just sort of thought of this lately. And I want to talk about one band. And I want to try and, if people haven't got into them, just to help them get into the band sort of thing. And they are known overseas, Australian band from where I'm from Sydney, of course. I'm from Sydney as well. And a great live band. The band is Midnight Oil. Of course, the members are like Peter Garrett on the vocals, Rob Hurst drums, Andrew James was initially in the band on bass, Martin Rotzi guitar, Jim Magini keyboard, guitar and keyboards. Later they brought in the early 80s, they brought in Peter Gifford on the bass. Andrew James was gone, and then Peter Gifford was gone later, and in the late 80s Bones Hillman came in, who unfortunately passed later on of cancer, unfortunately, very sad. And some bad news recently with Rob Hurst, the drummer, diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. So I hope he comes good, but yeah, not very good, not good news at all. That's another sad bit of news. That was just recent news. Was diagnosed in April 2023 with pancreatic cancer. So yeah, okay, so that is that. And the band toured in 2022. I saw them on that tour, magnificent show, full of energy still, even though they're older now. Played all the great songs, many of the very early songs, which was great, over 2 hours or so, whatever it was. Yeah, over 2 hours. And I've seen them twice, that time and in 20 years before, year 2000, I think it was, in a smaller venue. So, and they were great then too, so both times they were quite awesome. As I said, they started as Farm. That was the name of the band from 1972 to 1976. Became Midnight Oil later on after that. I've got CDs of them. I've got a couple of albums. I'm just going to flash the images of some of the albums anyhow on the screen for you guys as I go. They had, let's see, what else I got here. They finished, their last album was called Resist in 2022. Their first album was 1978's the debut, self-titled debut. Was a good start to the band. They had a very hard rock vibe, very, I would say, in a way, punky hard rock vibe, I would say. Very much from the clubs, coming from the clubs, playing the clubs and all that around that time in the 70s when they weren't so well known. Went on to make some amazing albums, very hard rocking. Head Injuries came out in 79 after the first album. I think that's a better album than the first album. I think that's one of their best albums. Because when you talk overseas, American audiences, a lot of overseas audiences know the sort of more the breakthrough albums overseas, I mean, like Diesel and Dust and Blue Sky Mining. But I feel very commercial sounding to me. But the Australian fans know the early stuff way before that, which I consider the best stuff. The way early stuff like the Place Without a Postcard and Head Injuries, as I said. Let's see, the 10 to 1 album, which goes 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, which I consider nearly their best album, just an amazing album. If you hear that one from the early 80s, then Red Sails in the Sunset with that amazing cover. Yeah, so they've, and they had a couple of really good EPs, the Bird Noises EP with great song called No Time for Games, and a great instrumental called Wedding Cake Island. And yeah, so I mean, I like, for me, I like the prime period for me anyhow is up to probably Red Sails in the Sunset You get like the debut, Head Injuries, Place Without a Postcard, 10 to 1, and Red Sails in the Sunset. I like Diesel and Dust and Blue Sky Money, but very more commercial, very different from what came before, because they were huge in Australia, and those albums, the Australian albums from the late 70s, early 80s are the prime, considered for Australia, the prime albums, really, when you think about it. They were just really, 2 or 3 of them really untouchable albums, by any band, really. They were just such great albums. So they had that golden period early, and then the breakthrough, the American success. And then they just sort of, after that, it's sort of, after the 90s, they made more albums. Earth and Sun and Moon, these are Redneck Wonderland, all these albums. A pretty groundbreaking band in Australian rock, really. As I said, guys, they came through the clubs with from here with the Cold Chisels and all these bands. There's so many of them. Angels were around. The pub rock scene in Australia which was really pumping all these bands out, and then found success later on. And as I said, the sound did get a bit, as with most bands, they change. It gets a bit more commercial. You go for the bigger audience, so to speak. So you make your sound a bit palatable for everyone. That's how it is. That hasn't happened. That's happened many times with many bands. When you see them, when we saw them live, the last show I did, they were great. They just, as I said, guys, did all the early stuff. Peter Garrett is such a mesmerizing frontman. I think he's one of the best frontmen. The energy of the guy, even when the last show, when he was older, I think he was 69 at the time. This is 2-3 years back. The great energy of him, and he's like, how should I say it? It's what's the word? You can't take your eyes off him, sort of guy. He's you got to look at him. Yeah, he's one of these guys. Not a boring front man as you like. Well, some bands do have, I reckon, anyhow. But he's a really exciting front man, and the vocals and everything. Some people think he hasn't got technically the greatest voice, but I think you wouldn't have, he fits perfectly this music. And I think he's done some very good vocal work over the years. If you go, if you take the whole catalogue, and you could find really some great vocals in there as well. So, and the band, all right, they all sort of contribute to the writing process. And they've always been a great live band. I remember first hearing about them, when I first heard about them, they always, you got to see Midnight Oil live, because they really put it across live with the energy and everything like that. So there you go. If you guys only know Diesel and Dust and Blue Sky Mining, the overseas viewers, check out albums like 10 to 1. I recommend 10 to 1 and Head Injuries and Place Without a Postcard. Those three, try those three, because I think they're very strong albums. And through this video I will put images up of the various albums. Not every album, but some of the albums. So yeah, go check Midnight Oil out. Let me know if you heard of them. Just a few words from me about them. Great band. Some really great songs in the catalogue and great albums in the catalogue. Early period and mid period mainly. So there you have it. Okay, guys, comment, subscribe, all those things. Let's talk things, all things Midnight Oil down below. Comment, subscribe, share, and I'll see you guys again for another one. Won't be too far away. Bye for now, guys. Bye. Bye for now. Bye.